Hi guys, I have a Copic coloring and card tutorial for you today, and today I am going to make a shaker card. But before I start making a shaker card, I am going to color the image that I'm using for my shaker card, and that is Love is in the Air by the Papernest Dolls. I am using my usual skin color, my go-to skin color in the winter time, which is the E50, E00, E11, E21 and E04. The E21 comes before the E11 though. And making just shadows like the light is coming from the upper left corner. And I really like this color as the E04 makes it a little bit pinkish, while the E50 kind of takes it back to be a little bit more like a skin color. For her hair, I've chosen a mid-brown because I thought she would look good in a mid-brown, and I'm using the E50s this time, from 53 to 59, and I'm trying to give her less strandy, more kind of zigzaggy highlight look. So I'm not doing very thin strands, instead I'm making them a little bit wider, making a zigzaggy motion of the highlights. For her dress, I am going to cheat. I'm making a red dress with white dots, but I kind of was a little bit lazy and didn't want to color around the dots. Also, red is one of those colors that have a tendency to sometimes bleed, but if you actually get it outside of the area you're supposed to, it's much harder to kind of hide it. So instead I've chose to cheat with my white dots. But first we come to the red colors. I've just watched a video with Sandy Olnock where she actually gave the tip that you shouldn't use the pinkish red as your highlights. Instead you would actually go for deeper red and using quite a red for your highlights. So in this case I ended up using the R27 for the whole light part. I was supposed to use the R17, but I kind of like the R27 a little bit more, so that was the color I ended up using as highlights on her dress and her shoes. For the white dot then, I use this Kirarina Wink white pen, which is a pen that Copic has given out. They have a whole bunch of them in their collection, and I really like them. It doesn't cover the red perfectly, but no white pen does. And for the smallest details, I'm using a Gellyroll white because it was very hard to get details with the white. Getting those circles with the white pen was pretty easy though, so I really like the pen. I'm hoping to be able to use it a little bit more in my crafting. So I'm cutting this out with my little cutter bee scissor. I ended up not putting in the parts when I'm cutting out the small hearts because I kind of fell off the screen a couple of times because they're so teeny tiny and you had to have your eyes on what you were cutting. And then I'm using my Martha Stewart craft knife to cut out the little parts that I couldn't get into with my scissors. For my mat, for my layering, I'm using some Simon Says Stamp Schoolhouse red cardstock. And I'm going to do a base A2 card size for this. I'm using some Doodlebug Designs ink Love Bug paper for the pattern paper, and I'm just going to use one pattern paper for this card. I really loved how it says love in all these scribbles, and I think it was perfect for this design. When I taped down this paper, I was very careful to just put tape on the outer corners because I was cutting this little circle out, and by not putting tape in the middle, the two circles didn't stick together. Because I'm gonna use a white card base, I wanted that circle to be in the middle of that circle, so I used the card layering part as a template and then I put the little circle down, because that is going to be the backing of my shaker card. So now we're going to do the shaker part of the card, and we're going to do that onto the layering base. And I'm using some acetate to make my window. You can use whatever kind of like packing material for your stamps or anything, but I have a whole box of this, so I am going to be able to make shaker cards for a very long time without having to spend more money on these kind of things. I'm adding some tape just around the circle to tape down my acetate layer so that I have the front side window for my shaker card. For the dimensional part, I'm using the 3M scotch tape. I'm going to double it up, so I'm going to add double the amount of foam tape on top of each other so that I have a little bit more space for my shaky thingies to shake around. And also a little tip: if you're doing circular shaker card and you have a very definitive down on your card, you only really need to follow the circle on the down part. If it's like mine is hidden behind a square end, so I'm actually just following the circle on the bottom part of my shaker while having just a straight piece on the top part of my shaker. And after adding the double amount of foam tape, I'm gonna add all my shaker parts, and this is a mixture of different sequins and other things. These sequins I got from a store here in Sweden. I have no brand for it, I'm sorry, but other sequins I do. These are some Derize sequins, and they are a little bit more cupped than usual sequins. I think they are perfect for shaker cards. And also I'm using some stars and hearts in this Martha Stewart one. I'm using one die which is called Holiday Shapes. I picked out to use the hearts that I cut out, and I'm also going to use this punch from Martha Stewart, which is all hearts, and all of the details of the materials is down below. Then I'm gonna show you a little trick, because it's kind of hard to put the circle in the right place if you don't have something that closes it down. So I'm using another sheet of that acetate, or I'm using the same sheet but another piece that I've cut out of that acetate, and I'm gluing it down, covering the backside without people knowing that I covered the backside. Then I'm using some just tape runner, trying carefully not to have any tape in the circle part so it can't be shown. And then I don't have to worry about things falling out. I can just add the card on top, trying to make it fit perfectly with the rest of that circle. And my shaker part of my card is done. Quite easy. It's a tip if you like to have your shaker done with a background like this. Then I'm actually have put some foam tape on the back side of this little character, and I'm taping her down. And those little hearts that I cut out, it's time to put them onto the card. So instead of having them as shaker parts, I wanted to have them on top of the shaker and in the border of the shaker, kind of showing that she's throwing the hearts up in the air, and that you can also shake around the hearts in the shaker part. That was the idea, at least. I'm using some two-way glue pen by Seg, and sorry about the shakiness and everything, but I'm right-handed and I'm trying to add some glue with my left hand. It's not as easy. Try it yourself. Try writing with your left hand. It's kind of complex. And by adding that last little heart, that card is finished. I hope you liked my card today, and if you do, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions, you comment down below, where you can find the description part and all the details of the card, and a link to my blog and more images of the card. This is 2 other videos made with paper nest doll stamps. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!